Hello, so today we're going to have a discussion of a literary piece of fiction entitled The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. So let's talk about The Yellow Paper first. The Yellow Paper is a short story by Charlotte Perkins Gilman that describes the narrator's depression following the birth of her child. The narrator's husband, John, a respected physician, diagnoses her behavior as hysteria and prescribes rest. John prohibits the narrator from writing and she cannot stand to visit her baby. The narrator spends all day sitting in bed and she begins to see a woman struggling inside the room's yellow wallpaper. Finally, in an effort to release the woman, the narrator tears down the wallpaper. When John comes in, he finds the narrator creeping around the room and faints. So that is the summary. We have the key ideas for the summary. So let's talk about the themes because we're going to discuss more about the literary piece while discussing the themes. So we have three. First one is appearance versus reality because both of the main characters in the yellow wallpaper suffer from their inability to differentiate between outward appearances and internal realities. In fact, the story's conflict can be traced to this flaw in their perceptions. The narrator's husband is unwilling to believe in an illness without physical symptoms. So he doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe on what his wife is saying to him. And the narrator believes, which is John, that the complex images in the wallpaper's pattern demand investigation. So appearance versus reality. They don't know really what is real and what is not. Then the second theme is the need for self-expression. The narrative structure of the yellow wallpaper expresses one of the major tensions in the short story. The conflict between the narrator's desire to express herself and her inability to actually do so. Her imaginative sensibility and her desire to write expressively, what she describes as work, so she considers writing as her work, are both at odds with her husband's expectations of her behavior. So her husband doesn't really want her wife to write. John is unable to grasp the importance of her writing, just as he fails to understand the narrator's complex inner life. And then the other one is the oppressive nature of gender roles. Because as you could see, the husband is the one who is really dictating what the wife is going to do. So the narrator of the yellow wallpaper is confined as much by her gender as by her illness. Her description of writing as work and her inability to engage with her child imply a desire to move outside of the domestic sphere. That desire is reframed as a symptom of her illness by the men surrounding her, and she is confined to a former nursery for her period of recovery. The presence of her baby boy in the house poses the threat of continued confinement even after her recovery. When the narrator will presumably relocate from her nursery to his, only the narrator's madness releases her from her husband's expectations, showing the extent of oppression which confined late 19th century women into specific societal roles. So this fiction is really reflecting the status of women in the 19th century. Gilman includes various symbols to highlight the story's themes. So they made use of this literary device symbol. The wallpaper, for example, serves as a physical reminder of the narrator's imprisonment by her husband, her illness, and her womanhood. Alright, actually, this fiction is written through a diary form. So the narrator is really like talking to himself. So if we're going to talk about the conflict, it's man versus himself. So he is really in uh, in search for his for her identity here. So that's it for the yellow wallpaper. Thank you and God bless. Please subscribe our channel.